Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the Rhymes with Tish channel and I am Katie, and today I have so much to show. I've been really schizophrenic almost with what I'm making. I don't know why. I'm just kind of starting all the things or picking up things I put down years ago to start working on again, and it's a frenzy. I have finished a few things, so I was going to show you guys, and yeah, let's get started. First off, I made some socks. I love making socks. They are challenging. I think they're a challenging knit because there's so many mechanics to like starting the sock and how you start it, and it has to fit right, and it's really, there's so many different variations, like how you make your heels and the toes, and it's a lot. But I am glad I tried. I think I took one Craftsy class, and once someone kind of walks you through it, you're like, okay, I get it. And then you kind of find the heel you like doing, and the toe, you get your groove going. So for these, I had some leftover yarn from a baby blanket I made, and the pattern came out from Purl Soho using that yarn, and I was like, well, I have that. I should make those. And they're like the most luxurious socks. So here, I'll show you guys. Ready? Stop talking, start showing the yarn. Right? Look how fun. They feel like $1 million. The gauge is so tight. Like, I made them on zeros. Can you see if I move my head out of the way? And the yarn is like fluffy and fuzzy, but hopefully strong. The pattern got me so much, I was like, I don't even care. I'll wear them for like 2 winters and move on. But oh, they're so fun. And I just had scraps, so just a little bit. It's an afterthought heel, so you knit like a tube, the straight kind of off-white tube, so like that, and then you come back and kind of cut in and add that color into the heel. So that's why they don't like lay nicely. They've got this weird fold here, a jig jog there. That's why. But it is very fun to just knit the straight tube because it doesn't take a lot of thought, and as long as you know kind of where you're going to cut in, you're good to go. So if you're thinking about starting sock knitting, I would recommend a pattern with an afterthought heel so that you can just knit that straight down and come back and add this part, because some of like the heel and gussets and all that are really, they're challenging. They're challenging and less fun sometimes, I think, when you're trying to think so hard while knitting. I don't want to think too hard while knitting. Okay, finish number 2. You ready? Oh, it's big. Hold on. This quilt. Finished a quilt. It's big. It's like throw plus size. And I'll try and back up so you can see. I haven't even taken a picture of it yet. You get like a better view. That's what we've got going on. It's so pretty. This is called New Year's Eve Kiss Quilt by Toad and Sew. That is the pattern name, and it is so fun to make. I loved the instructions. I thought they were super clear, and it was fun to put together. It's a medallion quilt, so like you start in the center, right, with that middle, and then you just kind of build different borders around the outside. So I don't know, it feels like a win right away because you're not waiting to the end to assemble your whole top, right? You're like building as you go, and you could stop at any border, if you're like, well, this is good. I don't need that last one. That's always an option. It's really fun. But I actually finished the piecing of the quilt. Like, I made the quilt sandwich in the winter, and I started hand quilting it, which I've been really into lately. I love hand quilting because the finished quilt, it feels almost like it's been lived in already. It's got that really nice, it's softer. It's not like when you really machine quilt a lot, I feel like the finished product, it's like jeans that you buy, like right away they feel stiff, like instead of the ones you've had for 5 years, and they kind of, know you and move better. So quilts kind of feel the same way to me, where you machine quilt it too much, it's stiff, it doesn't want to, lay nicely. I don't know, you kind of have to break it in. So I was hand quilting it, and I hated it. I hated how it looked. I didn't want to finish it. I didn't know what to do with the next, border piece, so instead I took it all out, and little boy came to observe. Anyway, I took out all that hand stitching because I wasn't liking it. And if you don't like something, you're never going to finish it. You're either going to hate it the whole time, or you're going to set it to the side and go like, I'll get to that later, which is what I did for months and months. So I came back, I took it all out, and I just stitched with my machine instead. And I started in the center. You see there's like a circle, right? And instead of like completing the circle, or to come back around outside the circle, and you just go a half an inch and you kind of create this spiral all the way out to the outside of your quilt. I love this kind of quilting. I've done it on probably 3 or 4 quilts now. It is so meditative. I don't know if that's how you can describe machine quilting, but it felt like, drawing in like your own little Zen sand garden. Like, it's so easy. You're not trying to adjust the quilt so much, and after you kind of get a good sized circle, then you're not scrunching up this side and kind of flipping it around and it's lovely. I highly recommend this style of quilting. You should try it on your next project. It goes with everything, because you're basically just, when you cover everything in this uniform pattern, it doesn't call out to you, it just lays everything really nicely and gives like I don't know, it's like a chef's kiss on top. It's just gorgeous. You should try it. Do it next time. Tell me if you like it. It's like one of my favorite ways to quilt. It's so good. But yes, this is the New Year's Eve Kiss quilt. That's a long quilt name. But beautiful pattern. You should get it. I really enjoyed making this one. And the baby option, this baby size option, was super cute too, because they kind of cut it off a few borders in. So if you're looking for something more modern like that, I thought it was really nice too. I love solids. I think when I started quilting, like, it wasn't a thing. I bought very old looking fabrics at the time. I don't, because that's what was in all the books I was learning from. They were, there wasn't kind of this movement toward looking new, looking modern. And I really love it. I love solids. I think they just set off every pattern you make. I don't know. I really like them. They look better to my eye. So that's why I do it a lot. If you do too, then you're one of us, one of the cool kids. I love some with patterns, but I think I make more that are just straight solids. I didn't really realize that until recently, but it's a good thing. Next up, I also made my brother a hat, but I did not take a picture of that, and I got it to him quickly because he said he was cold at his job and needed a hat, so I made him a quick hat and gave that away. I should have taken a picture, but it was more a gift than a gesture to show everyone, but it was super fun. And last but not least, I made that last baby blanket I've been talking about for a while, the one I tried to film making. We'll see how that goes. Guys, it's really hard to film what you're doing as you're doing it. I was trying, like, you're sewing on a machine and I can clearly see what I'm doing, but how do I get a camera? Like, I only have one camera, one tiny tripod. It was difficult. So we'll see. I tried to get some footage of what I was doing, and I hope that I got something that's useful, but I'll try and string that all together so you can see what the heck I was doing. It's just another craft to learn, I guess. I'll have to kind of make my way through. The first one probably won't be as impressive as I want it to be, but you gotta start somewhere. So I'll do my best. The blanket, anyway, is just this little, you see there's my Harry Potter backing, right? And I've got the lines, they're half an inch apart. On the other side are my layers of flannel. And as I said, you cut up the line, and I will try to explain this in that video, but you cut up the line so that all of your flannel kind of lays like this, and then once you wash it, they all fray and play so fun together. It feels so nice, and you can wash it 1,000 times because you're just fraying flannel more, you're just making it softer. It was like, made to be used hard. Love it. I think it turned out really cute, and I don't know who wants it, but somebody needs it. I really wanted to use that fabric. I'd been holding on for so long, and it needed to be a blanket. So now it is one. Maybe I'll just sit on it until someone gets pregnant again. A new round of babies coming. I'm sure they will. They always do, thankfully. So those were all of my things I've been finishing. I finished them. So proud. And like I said, that quilt sat there for at least 6 months. And I just got sick of looking at it, knowing that I wasn't working on it, didn't want to work on it, had no idea what to do next. So I came back. And that inspired me to go and grab this other quilt that was even further behind. I had bought this bundle of what's called shot cotton, where the warp and the weft, the strings that go up and down, right, that cross to make your cotton, they're different colors. So every color looks kind of muted and has a lot of depth. Like, they're all just really interesting to the eye. I loved every single one of them, and I bought this giant bundle, but I had no idea what to make with it. I wanted to use like every bit of this fabric, so I decided to just make a quilt of squares, I guess. I made a bunch of strips. I just cut all of them into strips, sewed those strips together, and then started cutting out little pieces. And by little, I mean I made 2-inch strips. I don't know why I did this to myself. They are quite small. Yeah. Once I add the seam on all 4 sides, like each square is going to be what, 1.5 inches? It's a lot of tiny squares. So anyway, I pulled all of these strips out and started putting them together, and it looked like my entire fabric stash had just exploded in here. They were all over the table. I mean, there's so many of them. There's so many. Which is good. I'm hoping it makes like a decent sized blanket. I have no idea what's going to happen. Like I said, I had no pattern. I don't make patterns. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just thought, squares. I can make a bunch of squares. Who can't make squares? And now I have just piles. So I'll show you. Here's like one set, right? And I'll just keep building them up together and together and on and on. All I had when I opened this box, which I put them all away like in a corner of shame because I was sick of looking at them. It's so much. So it was like this, right? Like, I don't know, 300 of these probably. And so I finally got them all added together to make 2 strips of these squares. And then it'll be 4, and like, I don't know, I guess every few years I'll just reduce my work by half as I assemble all of these. I think I'm going to go one more round and actually put like this 8x8 together and see how I feel at the end of that. It is a lot. There's a ton of seams. I'm not pinning. I know, shock. I just kind of, squeeze them together in the right place. It works for me. I'm sure somebody would be like, oh, what? But yeah, I don't pin. Not something like this. And they're just so fun. These cottons are like gorgeous. And it doesn't matter what the shade is. Like, some are really neutral and some are really bright. And it doesn't matter which one's next to the other. They look amazing. How did they do this? I don't even know. Can you see? They're so good. I still love them. They just, they're trying my patience. And so sometimes they need to, sit down and be quiet for a minute. So I got that back out and I was doing it. I actually put some together. I felt really proud of myself that I hadn't just abandoned them forever. So I'm gonna try and keep going on it and see how big I can get my bits of squares. I'm hoping like this next round it just feels a lot more condensed, a lot less sprawling. Can you see my pile? There's 4 of these piles of strips. They make a bunch of fuzz too. It's a lot, but part of quilting, right? You kind of start with madness and end with something beautiful. Hopefully that's kind of that's where you're wanting to go. And then I also started my first ever summer knitted garment. I always usually knit sweaters. I like, wool, but it was just so cute. It was so cute. This is the outline tee. I'll try and put a picture because where I'm at, it looks like nothing right now, but I've got, let's see, it's got twisted rib at the bottom, which is always cute. And it's this linen fabric, so you can wear it anytime you want. It's not gonna feel hot. You know, it's not heavy. It's really drapey and, you know, light. I love the yarn. It's a linen yarn from Purl Soho. The color's really fun. I hope I got enough. The top itself is like a crop top. You know, it's gonna go to that natural waist, hopefully. I don't want it too cropped. I am an old lady at heart. But anyway, it should sit like at the natural waist. So if you're wearing higher waisted jeans, they'll kind of meet there and hopefully look cute. That's the idea. The pattern itself, it's got these drop stitches. Like you knit all the way up and then you just release one of these stitches and it'll open up all the way down like the middle like this. And then I think there's some on the sides. And I'm very nervous because if you do it wrong, like if the stitch I release at the top is not the one I prepared for at the bottom, then it'll just unravel my sweater down the middle. It's gonna be I'm worried, but I'm gonna do it. It looks so cute in the picture. I'm gonna try it. You know, every time I fail at something, at least I learn, and I guess I'll learn to be way more careful. I tried to be careful. We'll see how careful I was. Wish me luck. So this is the outline tee, like I said. I'll show you. Hopefully I'll get more of it done. You have to kind of split. You knit like up here to the bottom of your, you know, armhole, and then you knit just the front and just the back and kind of connect them at the top. It's gonna be, oh, it's stressful. Clenching my butt as I knit. It's not what you want. So that's fun. And then last thing I've been working on again was something I made probably a year and a half ago, like right when the pandemic started, and I knew I'd be inside and kind of stuck for a while. I found one of my quilting books and looked up this thing I haven't done before, which is called English paper piecing, where I'm sure you've always seen like the hexagon quilts, right? Like all those interesting shapes that would be really hard to do with a machine, and instead you sew them by hand, which, I mean, that's why my grandma quilts all her quilts. She did everything by hand, but I'm not gonna do that. But I did for this, so I hope she'd be really proud of me. But anyway, you got to like this piece of paper and you'd cut out your fabric and kind of glue it around so that this gives it structure, and you sit the pieces together. Let me see if I have one. Here you can see, so it's got paper on the back, and I just folded my fabric around it, right? And then you take your other one, you kind of marry them together, and then you sew along this line by hand, right? And then it opens up into this really pretty piece. I don't know if I have one of those sitting around. Yeah, like that. See? And then you sew that on and on and on together to make a piece. I wasn't interested in doing a whole quilt, but this pattern was just kind of like a little wall hanging. It wasn't too big. It seemed like a really modest way to try out this technique and see if I liked it. Because I love those patterns with the hexagon. I mean, they're so cute, but that's a lot to commit to when I don't even know if I like doing that. Turns out I don't like doing that. I want the finished product. But doing it is not very fun for me. So I'll show you what I have so far. Ready? Here it is. Oh, I've done it. Like, it's a thing, and it will continue on. This is actually the corner. Like, there's one big triangle here that goes at the corner, and I stopped there because I don't like the one I had picked out. It's super busy, and I was like, you're just gonna make this look like a mess so that you can't even see all the hard work I put into it. So I think I'm gonna rethink that fabric a bit. When I started this, I just grabbed a random bundle of fabric I had that wasn't really, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite. I didn't want to waste something I really liked in case I hated doing this. So it's a very busy and loud. Again, like a lot of prints just don't do it for me. They're too much. But, I mean, I think it will look fun when I'm done if I find something to kind of cap it off with, right? I'm hoping. I do like it, and I was successful. Like, look at the center of this thing. I did it. It lays flat, it lays well. I don't know. I want the finished. Are you like a product crafter or a process crafter? Like, do you enjoy the making of something or like the having of that finished object? And I go back and forth. Like, it really depends on what I'm doing. And if I want to suffer through making it or if I enjoy the making it part. So right now I feel like I'm torturing myself with this quilt that's so tedious and, you know, a lot of tiny pieces, or this shirt that I may knit all the way and then ruin, and this very difficult little English paper piecing quilt. I need something that's fun, so maybe I'll start that soon. I don't know, but again, I've been starting too many things. I need to like finish a few more to feel good. Yeah, so I know you've done it too. I know I do. It makes it feel punishing. But I do like it. I want it on my wall somewhere. I'm gonna do it. Maybe in another year I'll be like, oh yeah, that one thing, and I'll pick it up and keep going. I've got like almost all the little pieces sewn together into units. Like, it's not that bad to finish, but it's just funny. I kept staring at it, like thinking I'd missed. It was a lot, but I'm almost done. It's gonna be great. And that's all I have today. That's a lot. I hope you liked all the things I showed. I am busy. I am making things, torturing myself for you. So I hope you appreciate it. Yeah. So these are super fun. I will keep working on them and show you how I'm doing. Please send good thoughts my way as I suffer through finishing some of these. You know, fingers crossed that I don't just unravel my knitted shirt as I finish. That'd be fun. At least it'll be a story. I'll come back here and we'll cry together. It'll be good. Yeah. I hope you guys are having a good summer, and I will be back soon with another edition of Please Help Me. I can't finish projects. Bye guys.